you need.
Well, First Take is going overtime here at the NBA Finals. Make sure you tune in for our special shows throughout Cavs Warriors 3 starting this Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Doors open at 7:30 a.m. Pacific, so make sure you pack the house and join us on Sunday morning right here in Oakland. And we're only 2 days away from a critical Game 2 in the NBA Finals with the Cavs even the series after a Game 1 blowout Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC.
We got to credit their defense. That's why they're number one defensive team. But we had something that we could control, and we talked about before we come into the series. Like, our best defense is going to be our offense of taking care of the basketball. Not a lot of turnovers, and tonight we had 20. That's way too many against this team.
Welcome back to Lake Chalet in Oakland. First Take on the road for the NBA Finals. This crowd is still so hyped after last night. Will Kane with us now. Good to have a little willpower in the house. And thank you. Love you too.
Okay.
That was
sincere.
I appreciate it. I take all the love I can get.
That was real.
All right. So
I'll tell you what's sincere. Me sitting over there can't believe the things coming out of your mouth. I swear to you, I'm sitting over there and I'm like, what?
Really?
I got to walk on set.
Really?
I got to walk on set and things I'm hearing.
Did you not watch the finals last year?
I watched it last night, Marcellus.
This happened last year. Same thing. It'll happen again.
So on that note, the Cavs had 20 turnovers, the Warriors 4. That's the most lopsided differential in finals history. Will, if you're the Cavs, should you have patience or are you panicking?
This is not even a close call. You hit the panic button. I mean, it's all out panic.
Because that always helps. Yeah, right. Sound logic there.
Sometimes, Max, when it's real, you got to recognize real. It's panic time for the Cavs. It is panic. And I understand, the prudent thing to do is come out and say, it's Game 1. You know, apparently, according to Marcellus, LeBron likes to lay Game 1 away. He doesn't need it.
Hey, I didn't make up the stat.
It's just the NBA Finals. I don't need Game 1.
Even when he wins
whatever.
they lose.
He's pacing himself.
That's it.
Man, you have to. Here's why you hit panic. Here's why. It's very simple. What's going to change? Explain to me what's going to change. Is the Cavaliers' defense going to change? Molly, you just said 20 turnovers. They averaged 13, 14 for the season, so what are they going to improve that by, 2 or 3? They gave up KD every time I turned around. KD was dunking.
Yes.
Dunking.
That's real.
Dunking.
That's real.
Dunking. That's a...
Keep going. 6 dunks.
That's exactly what it was.
It was 6 dunks.
6
dunks
Some of them coast to coast, like they were so concerned about guarding the three-point line, they were giving up dunks. I know, don't give up 3, give up 2, but don't give up 100% on 2.
J.R. Smith said, go on, Katie. Go on.
All right. Oh, well, look.
Hey, by the way, as Max points out, shooting percentage on dunks is right around 100%. So I feel pretty good about the Warriors continuing this pursuit. Cavs gave up 15 to 20 uncontested shots. And here's the scary thing, Marcellus. This isn't out of the norm. This is the 22nd ranked defense in the NBA. This, my friend, is going to continue.
Well, your answer is the reason. Look, it's not going to continue. It never continues like this. Your answer is the reason why you don't panic, and you have to show patience. Think about it. Those mishaps, those breakdowns on defense, allowing guys to just run up and down the court, looking at Kevin Durant having 6 dunks. You let a scorer realize that the rim could be as wide as the Pacific Ocean because you keep giving them coast-to-coast breaks. Then you make a quick fix in practice. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to guard inside
They could
out.
make those threes.
Practice.
They could hit the threes.
Inside out.
We're talking about practice.
And Klay Thompson, who has the yips right now offensively, let's just call it what it is, we're going to make him make those threes. Steph Curry, we're going to put pressure on you. And Kevin Durant, we're going to make you realize this moment. And here's the moment. KD, you're amazing. You're a scorer. But what happens if you start to realize that you came here to win a championship and you're in a series that may be close, that is a 1-1 series going back to Cleveland? You have to put the pressure on them to make them make their hard, difficult shots at 3. Remember, Cleveland's better from the 3-point line than Golden State this year. People have lost that in the mind.
Here's why.
And then that's why you show patience.
Here's why Will Marcellus is right on this. But
Marcellus is right.
Yep, they have to show
Marcellus
patience.
is right.
He is. They have to show patience. First of all, panicking ain't going to help. But I get your drift. In other words, are we about to get run over, or is there something we can do? They're not a good defensive team. They have to, you have to make them make the threes. Like, And if Golden State makes the threes, you're going to lose. That's why you're the underdog. But you can't keep giving them dunks. The Cavs are going to have to outscore them. The team with most points wins at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But the Cavs are an all-time great offense. And it is possible just to out-offense the other team, even if they're a great offense also and also a better defense, 4 games out of 7. That is possible, and the Cavs could possibly do it, though they're underdogs. Furthermore, in 1960, this is a story.
There you go.
Not here.
This is why I don't work with you anymore. That's why I left.
Are you gonna go
Can I
baseball
sit
now?
down?
That's why I kicked you out. Made you go to break.
I brought this up last week. In 1960, the New York Yankees played
Just
the
check out.
Pittsburgh Pirates in the World Series. And the Yankees, over a 7-game series, outscored the Pirates by something like 28 runs, meaning they should have easily won the series. And the Pirates kept winning these one-run games, and they won the series. Sometimes, if you get a squeaker here and there, the other team, when they're blowing you out, it doesn't matter. There are no 10-8 rounds in basketball, right? Every game counts the same. All the Cavs have to do now is win one game, game 2, by a single point because their offense is clicking. Okay. By a single point, and now they've won the 2-game set because they went on the road and took back home.
Right now.
Okay.
I would draw that up right now.
By the way, he ain't going to have the yips for long if he's wide open from 3.
Clay's cold.
It's been 13 straight games,
I want to get straight this defensive strategy, okay? Your game plan to beat the Golden State Warriors is to what? You're going to double up on KD.
Oh, that's not my game plan.
Leave Clay alone behind the 3. And by the way, that's single on Steph, right? So you got the guy who's Steph, third best player in the NBA, who can now do what he did last night. You're leaving Clay, who can go for 40 to 50 on any given night by himself. And this is how you plan to win this series?
Oh, yeah, it's simple. Cause
that's panic, my friend. That's panic.
You know what? Your premise of panicking is the fact that they got blown out in the game last night. Guess what? Every single game last series when they faced them last year was a blowout into game 7.
Real quick.
So guess what? Don't panic.
The defensive strategy against the Warriors all season has resulted in situations where either KD or Clay is wide open from 3, and that was actually the right defensive choice. That's why the Warriors are the favorites. That's why they should win the championship. Because in addition to that kind of offense, the Cavs also have that kind of offense. They also have defense and rim protection that the Cavs don't have. The Warriors should win. They're up 1-0. But
your historic offensive explosion comes against one of the best defenses in the NBA.
But right after last season, if you're on the Cavs, you don't start panicking now. You were down 3-1 and won it on the road.
All right, let's spin this conversation forward. So with the win, the Warriors are now 13-0 in the postseason. What's even scarier is that Kevin Durant came out and said they can play a lot better. Max, how much better can Golden State be?
Well, they can be better. And the key is that, as I mentioned, Steph and KD both stayed hot. I haven't seen that all year. They were both clicking and they were feeding off each other. But Clay is cold. He's icy cold. And part of that is they're guarding the 3-point line. They're making him put it on the floor a little bit. Clay is capable of doing that, but that's not where his value is. Catch and shoot Clay, especially wide open, is the guy who's going to kill you. And I expect eventually, because they have to stop giving KD straight pass to the rim for dunks, that Clay will be open. And watch how fast the yips go away when Clay is wide open from 3. He is going to play much better one of these games. That's when they're going to be clicking on all cylinders, playing 5 out with Draymond at the 5. And by the way, even the bigs they're out. The bigs this year are outplaying the bigs last year on Golden State. This team, last night was not this team clicking on all cylinders yet, but there were signs that they're moving in that direction, and that is scary.
Well, look, I see the seesaw effect happening with Golden State. That's why I don't think they can play much better. Think about it. You add Kevin Durant, and you're like, oh, my God, we actually added the second best player on the planet. But what you have taken away, at least offensively, is one of the other top 10 players in Klay Thompson, who's a two-way player, who's now a one-dimensional player because he doesn't know where to fit in. And then when he does have his opportunities, he doesn't take advantage of them. Also, if you look at this team in totality, look, the Cleveland Cavaliers are laughing in this moment in one respect. They're looking at it like we have not one respect. They have in one respect.
Get that Clay on her.
In one respect.
Get that up behind Marcellus. Get that Clay on her.
They're laughing in this one respect. They know that they can go out there and fix themselves defensively in terms of assignments like that. And they also know offensively that the players of Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, Darren Williams, Kyle Korver will not go 1 for 14, and you will get more of a game out of Kyrie Irving. You add up all of that, that's going to be
How
more
much better can the Warriors get?
All right, listen. First of all, this is why you should panic. Because what the Warriors did last night, there's meat on the bone. They're not just talking their mouths about we didn't play our best game. They did not play their best game. This needs to be said really quick about Klay. Yes, you're right. Klay is ice cold. You mentioned he's a two-way player. You know what the guy shot against him last night with the Cavs shot? 1 for 12. 8%.
Yeah. Oh, he's a great
man
defender
he's
still.
guarding
That's not
shot
gonna work.
8%.
That's not gonna
now, look,
work.
here's why there's meat on the bone. Number one, Steph was great last night. That wasn't a Steph game. That wasn't where Steph takes over and Steph dominates.
Do you ever see that in the finals from Steph?
I saw it 2 weeks ago against the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, man, come on now.
Let me tell you,
Finals.
let me just give you this stat. His usage rate last night was 28%. He shot 28 points getting out. He got 28 points out of that 28%. Against the Trailblazers, got up to 37% of a 40% usage. That's the kind of game.
I don't think that makes the unit better.
No. There will be a Steph game is the point. You're going to have to deal with it. There'll be a Steph game
Remember
where
when
he
they had
can't miss.
McAdoo in?
And then what do?
Remember when they had the lead and they put McAdoo in at the 5 and Draymond wasn't in the game? You're like, that's not their best lineup. What's going on? Maybe not just to give Dre a blow, but because they needed to see. I think really what was going on there is, as I mentioned, Steph and KD got it both going on simultaneously. That hasn't happened yet.
But my point,
so let's keep this going. If Steph's usage rate goes up, maybe that dynamic goes away. I don't think there's meat on the bone as far as Steph is concerned.
But this is why you're concerned. It's not going to be a KD game every game, and this is why you need to panic. There will be the Steph game. There'll be the 40-point Steph explosion. You know what else?
There'll be the Klay game.
You know what else you didn't see?
Haven't seen a Steph game in the finals.
You didn't see a Draymond game. How about a Draymond game last finals?
Oh, yeah, you did that.
Yeah, all right.
But then that could take away from someone else. You're acting like they have
This is
16
the Warriors.
more
It's not a zero-sum game. It's just more points.
The Warriors outpaced the Cavs 16 more possessions last night. That's not going to happen every game. The turnover differential was the highest in NBA Finals history. That's not going to happen every night.
So are they going to win by 8 instead of 50?
Right. No, you're going to get more from your role players, especially when you get to Cleveland. But, hey, they can get a 1-1 series going to Cleveland, and then that will be a problem. And then psychologically, a fractured team that we saw collapse mentally last year starts to have the doubt nerves again.
This is who you sound like, all right?
They start to have the doubt
Listen to
nerves
these
again.
people. I don't want to. You sound a little bit like LeVar Ball, like you're trying to speak it into existence. It isn't real, man.
Okay, we'll
you
see.
Talk it, but that doesn't make it happen.
Last year, after 73 wins, why even play that team? After a 3-1 lead, why even continue to show up? It's over. It's not over. Golden State knows that better than anybody.
Look,
and I think
the Cavs can win.
believer.
The Cavs can win game 2. It's possible. And then, as I said, they've won the 2-game set 1-1. That's a win for the Cavs. But the question is, how much better can the Warriors get? And the answer is the Warriors can get better than last night.
Absolutely.
That's the answer. That's not the best version of the Warriors, and that's scary.
That is very scary. All right, so we will leave it there. LeBron suffocated last night, but do his teammates deserve some of that blame? We will get into that in just a bit. And joining us next, there's a ghost in the building, someone who joined us on this set 2 years ago. Actor Amari Hardwick makes his return to talk about the new season of Power. Keep it here, First Take on the road.
Take
on the road for the NBA Finals. Everybody's so hyped. And you know why? I'll wait till the crowd.
They got me locked up.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I got 3 kids and 2 jobs. So I haven't seen since season 1. They got Ghost. He's locked up.
They got Ghost.
He's locked up.
I am very invested in the life of Ghost and Tasha and Angela.
here.
So I'm so excited that after these finals end, you got us covered.
Wait, I got you.
June 25th, season 4,
25th.
the hit show Power on Stars. We got Amari.
So first off, let's say rest in peace to the beautiful, strong mother of Stephen A.
Yes.
Yes.
Shout out to him.
Yes.
An amazing woman from everything I know.
Very
about.
powerful.
Amazing.
So
Yeah, we miss
God bless
having
his
him here.
sisters and his family. But I'll play Stephen A. today.
Okay.
And he was mad at me, of course. Not mad at me, but he was like, "Come on, oh." When I predicted correctly 2 years ago, and I'm with Max in the sense that you can't get to the point of panic after game 1. If anybody's doing that, I mean, obviously we're here in Golden State, and they looked not even as thorough as they're usually looking, and they still were able to win by the margin of victory that they were able to win. But my prediction is that at some point, either LeBron or Kyrie or if not Ty Lue, got in the butt of everybody that comes off the bench at Cleveland and reminded them that they're in the finals, because they showed up like they weren't even in the playoffs. So, you know, I think that if Cleveland can, my man saying Warrior defense, and ironically about Warrior defense, yes, Clay has not necessarily been present offensively, but at least he's really moving his football defensively. And of course, Draymond is always going to fill up the box in terms of defense, in terms of locking people down. So if Tristan can figure it out, then it becomes a series again.
Exactly. You got to get on those boards.
If Kyle Korver can figure it out, then it's got to be, which has to happen.
Figure it out.
So it's
Kyle
the rest of the cast.
hit the open shot. The shot.
He's got to figure it out, you know.
Right.
But you got to figure it out in the sense of, if you think about it, I'm from Atlanta, and Kyle Korver was lighting it up for us for a minute.
Yeah,
but Atlanta was obviously a playoff team that wasn't doing much beyond what we did. And so Cal, y'all chill out for a minute, for like 5 seconds. So like,
You are playing Stephen A.
So Cal had to the pressure was not to who's as big as a mountain, and reminding them sometimes to be parts of the mountain. Mentoring Kyrie is reminding him to embrace being the mountain. I'm on a show where I am dealing with an exec producer and a fellow actor in Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, who has as much presence as an Omari who walks in a room. He has more presence than me because he allowed me to become what I've become in many ways. Obviously God being first, and everybody else that rooted my way. But now that I've embraced being your lead of a show, as massive as power is, the show that is Cleveland Cavaliers, it has to go at some point in the locker room. It has to go, if it were a scene, it has to go LeBron whispering, hey, it's you. And it's okay that it's you. But Kyrie and I, almost in a quid pro quo, are allowing each other to understand what it means to embrace the level of Hall of Fame potential, the moxie that Draymond naturally has, and to take the shots not only at the clutch moments, but to take them anyway. And so I think, yes, he is well on his way. I think he's a future Hall of Fame without any question. But the irony in life is that he is playing with another super heroic player. And sometimes those two don't necessarily mesh. My message is to Kyrie, and it's always the same. I say it in front of the world and to him, is to be exactly what you were born to be, which is the man. If LeBron is the man and Kyrie is the man, two of the men can exist on the same team as Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. It works. Yeah. It works.
Speaking of the mountain, go ahead.
Right.
Be the mountain.
Hey, yeah, real talk.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm directing this to you, Omari, not Ghost, because I don't want no problems with
I love
this.
that. I love that.
Look, it's not a big leap to say that the Warriors going to win in 6 2 years ago when they are just with LeBron, no Kyrie,
No Kyrie.
Love.
No Kyrie.
So, you know, that
and even Kevin
right
played well last night. The big three were fine.
Yeah.
It was it was.
Yeah, but big Warriors fan, obviously you are. You get Kevin Durant. Now, you're playing Stephen A. right now,
Yeah,
but Stephen A. said that was a weak move. So how do you
What was
feel
a weak move?
That Kevin Durant came to
KD going to
Golden
go take the weakest
State.
move that he's ever seen from a
made.
superstar.
So how would you respond to you being Stephen A. saying that that's the weakest move he's ever seen?
So I'm friends not only with Kevin Durant, but I'm very close to his mother as well. And it was ironic because when he was threatening to leave, or the league knew that, and there was murmurs about it, I thought maybe a return home, Wizards, is what my thought was. Maybe I didn't judge that as much. I always say that LeBron, at the end of the day, and people don't assess this way, but he went to Miami to go to college. Never went to college. To me, he did 4 years in Miami. He went to Miami. That was college. It happened to be an NBA team. He had a big brother called Dwayne Wade. That's what he did. He came back home and worked out. So I was fine with Durant considering the Wizards. But when he came to the enemy team, I'm definitely of an age group and of an era where I'm used to people going down in a flame with the same team that they helped to bring up. So I don't necessarily disagree. I can't say it's the weakest move ever. Obviously, with free agency and all of that, things are different than when we were growing up watching Magic and Kareem. But the reality is, I'm so competitive, man, and I ain't leaving power to go on Empire.
What a smart move.
Matt can stand on top, right?
All right.
There's levels to this.
I might.
You want to lead your crew to the promised land, not bandwagon.
Jump on the
You
wagon.
have to. I mean, maybe I'll hang out in platoon with Game of Thrones for like 5 minutes. I mean, I'm a businessman. I don't know if I would.
If Jordan's in his prime, maybe you go join him for a minute.
Speaking of your show, though, you've got an album coming out, new season, June 25th. What can we expect?
Oh, yeah. Ooh. You know what? It's the beautiful question. The reality is, and shout outs to my incredible home, because Jay and the kids allowed me literally to go from set where I was 16 hours, and then they allowed me to go to the studio, and I'd be there till like 5 a.m. and then go right back to set. And Courtney knew I was working on the album. Curtis knew I was working on the album. Hell, Carmi Zlotnick and Chris Albrecht, the heads of stars, they knew I was working on the album. So I think you can expect maybe the best performance, not only of my team, but perhaps of Ghost this year, because I was able to pour as Omari. Thank you, Sellers, for reminding me that I'm Omari. I have to be reminded sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, did Mama name me Ghost?
Right?
But, you know, as Omari, I was able to fully pour all of the crap and the pain and the joy and the love of a life journey of trying to be an artist and being an ex-athlete, which is probably why I work with athletes so much, into this work. And so by the time I got to set and they said action, I was at a different place, a better place than I've been in the 3 prior seasons. So
Mama named
I think
Omari.
you
I'm
expect,
Omari.
which is a really great segue that Max threw out, because obviously he's referring to Eddie Murphy's brilliant play on Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, and Coming to America. But ironically, tomorrow is the anniversary of Muhammad Ali's passing. So that was smooth. You ain't even know, bro.
I wasn't not considering that. That is true.
June
Off your
25th,
shoulder.
Power is back on Stars. Amari Hardwick, thank you so much
Thank
for being
you.
here. Come back.
God bless y'all,
We
Oakland.
appreciate you.
God bless you.
Coming up, the Warriors look unstoppable in Game 1 of the finals, but find out where there's actually more pressure on them to win Game 2 on Sunday. And LeBron fills up the stat sheet in Game 1 in a good and a bad way. What grade would we give the Kings' performance? Keep it here. First Take on the road for the finals.
There's people who care where I'm going.
Arms Memorial. Underway. First Take will be there every step of the way. We'll be right back here in Oakland from the Lake Chalet Bar and Grill next Monday. Then we're going to be at the Hoffer House when the series heads to the land on Tuesday. Doors open 5:30 a.m. Pacific time in Oakland, 8:30 a.m. Eastern in Cleveland. So make sure you get up early and join us for the finals.
We ain't about to talk about LeBron being tight.
Ball deflected. James lost the handle. Finds Draymond Green. And Green counted and a foul. James upset.
There's no way you're going to win a ball game having 20 turnovers against this team and on the road.
James fouls in. Offensive foul. Pass all the way across. And Durant throws it down. Goes right at Durant. Can't finish. Curry. Deep three. Puts it in.
Good day. First Take out here in Oakland. It is a beautiful day. And this crowd very happy, rightfully so, on the road here for the NBA Finals. And Game 1 is in the books. Let's get right into it, gentlemen. LeBron had 7 turnovers in the first half, his second most in a half in his career, regular season or playoffs. That's 8 total, which was twice as many as the Warriors had as a team. LeBron, after the game, said he prides himself on not turning the ball over, and he did it too much. Marcellus, are you giving LeBreezy a pass for Game 1?
Oh, you know I am. I'm giving him a pass. Wow. Yeah, you have to give him a pass.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, exactly. You got to think about it. Like LeBron James, any NBA champion, it's about you and your crew. And last night, his crew, for the most part, was absent. And I think he realized that pretty much in the second quarter. Early in that game, he realized, one, tenacious defense, give him respect. Golden State is playing some defense. The hands are flying, the feet are moving. But you got to think what a turnover really is. And it's broken down to a few elements, and obviously it's carelessness. It's sometimes you're forcing it in effort, trying to make things happen. And then it's also you got to respect the opponent. They're out there in position to take advantage of those turnovers. Well, we know that LeBron James won't be this careless going forward, so you give him a pass. You also know that he's not going to have to force it because the other guys are going to step up more to the occasion. So 2 of those variables are already off the board. The last one is the Golden State defense. How will it show up? Well, it's going to see a different Cavalier offense, so therefore I don't see the same defense showing up. All those things will take care of itself, and I give him a pass. He'll be better game 2.
Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
LeBron realized that his teammates didn't show up. When did it, you say? When was it? About
it
when?
looked like in the second quarter, you saw a different LeBron than the first
They were
quarter.
only down 8 points at the half.
No, I'm not talking about the
So when LeBron realized that Kevin Love wasn't going to be there for the game, Kyrie wasn't quite Kyrie. J.R. Smith took 1 shot, made 1 shot, took 4 actually. When he realized that, that's when he turned the knob down. That's when he drew it back.
Will.
See, in the first half, Marcel's, he scored 19 points, had 11 rebounds. In the second half, 9 points, 4 rebounds. So LeBron looked around and goes, nobody else is here. I guess I don't have to be here either.
What is LeBron James at
He
heart?
turned it down
What is LeBron
when his
James at
teammates
heart?
weren't there.
What is LeBron James at heart? A facilitator. And a facilitator knows that first I have to get you guys engaged. And when I realized, as LeBron said post-game, mentally, I need you guys to be into this game. He called out his teammates 3 times in the mental aspect, saying if you're mentally into this, physically things will show up and develop. I think LeBron realized as a facilitator he couldn't get his teammates engaged in that moment, and he started to force it. It's simple.
If I may, Max, I think no one deserves more blame for the Cavaliers' performance last night than LeBron James. I mean, he's LeBron James. He's the leader of the team.
Right.
And by the way, I have not begun to insult him near as much as I think you have this morning. In the course of this day, you have said LeBron James lays game 1, doesn't turn out for game 1 because doesn't need it.
History
Number 2, when his teammates don't show up, he then passes. He then gives up on it. He can turn down the thermostat once Kevin Love decides not to play. He joins him in taking a pass on the game. Your insults are the worst.
That's not it.
You have said LeBron
You have
James.
misconstrued my words.
I have not. I
Just to
listened.
make sure that your argument is underlined. But you know what?
Don't
I'll
let the
let you.
facts get in the way.
The answer is not that do we give LeBron James a pass for game 1, but that LeBron James has earned a lifetime pass for games like that, even in the finals. Understand, he had a bad game by LeBron James standards. If you, as I said earlier, if Westbrook in a finals game went for 26, 15, and 7 with 8 turnovers, we'd all be like, yeah, that's what Westbrook does. That's a Westbrook game. I mean, that's a bad game for LeBron James. It's a game that other all-time greats would be like, wow, it's a pretty good game you just had in the finals. But let's say the 8 turnovers override everything else and he didn't play defense and Kevin Durant got the best of him and all that. Is LeBron James, the man who just took the Golden State Warriors 6 games when the second best player on the team was Matthew freaking Dellavedova? Is LeBron James the guy who was down 3-1 in the finals against the greatest regular season team of all time and brought him all the way back to win Game 7 on the road? Is that LeBron James entitled every now and then to underperform by his standards, but not by the standards of anyone else on planet Earth, almost to ever live? Yeah, he's got a pass for that.
Let's not act like he had a ton of help either.
Yeah.
What'd you say? No excuses, Max. A few segments ago, Max, you were talking about he sounds like he's making excuses. Now you're making him for him. This is not LeBron. We're not talking about 2 years ago.
I'm not talking about what's going to happen in the rest of the series. I'm talking about yesterday's game.
And we're not talking about 2 years ago, and we're not even talking about last year. I don't give lifetime passes. I judge the moment, and he didn't rise to the moment.
Wow, that's late.
He failed. He failed. He failed on 3 counts.
You'd be right if he does this in 3 more games.
No,
you'd be right.
I'm right about last night. He does not get a pass. He failed on 3 counts. We talked about his offensive performance in the second half. By the way, in the first half, it was frenetic. Yeah, he scored, and if you look at a box score, you're like, oh, look, LeBron showed up, got a bunch of rebounds, and scored some points. Oh, and also turned the ball over, and anybody watched realized he was frenetic. Turned it down in the second half. You brought up defense. What did I say Clay had it early? Clay held his opponents to 8%.
8%, right.
8%, right? 8%. You know what LeBron had? Whoever LeBron was guarding? 58%.
But we'll see.
58%.
You take
7 of 12 on LeBron.
Real quick. Let me take this one real quick. Will, you're arguing that he had a bad game by his standards. There's no argument there among any of us. The question is about the pass. The pass presupposes that he has a bad game. The premise is he had a bad game, and the question here is, do we excuse a bad game from him? Everyone is going to underperform sometimes. The fact that LeBron got outplayed by his counterpart in one finals game on the road, when he has a history of losing that game 1, does he deserve the benefit of the doubt, essentially, is what we're saying? Yes, he does.
And you know why he does? And you do. I think every athlete feels this same issue that LeBron James went through on a greater scale. LeBron James, obviously, in the magnitude. You got to split between decisions and results. Right now, since you don't give out a pass, all you do is chase results. But that's not the process. That's not what you practice. You practice on making better decisions. He made a miscalculation last night, in part because he had no support. So LeBron James, the ultimate facilitator, is looking around saying, where are you guys right now? Put too much on himself. And then that's, he didn't live up to his standards. But those numbers are result-based. Those numbers are things that you're going to say, I'm not giving you a pass for those numbers. But you got to understand, the decisions he made were smart. And now, going forward, his teammates will make better decisions and be more engaged.
All right, let's throw the numbers out. Let's forget his offensive performance in the second half. Let's throw the defensive numbers out. I'm not saying this gratuitously. I totally respect the perspective you're coming from an ex-professional athlete who played at one of the highest levels that can be expected of someone. But you were wrong about one thing. I don't respect process. I only respect results. Here's the process that I respect that LeBron failed at. Again, throw out offense, throw out defense, throw out numbers. You know the process that LeBron failed on? This game starts before tip-off. This game starts before what shows up on the court. You want to indict LeBron James last night? Who should be, because lifetime passes are not handed out. You indict him on his leadership. If Kevin Love doesn't show up, that's on LeBron.
Wow.
If J.R. Smith doesn't show up, that's on LeBron.
We're not grown men.
If the entire team doesn't show up, that's on the leader of the team. Leadership is not about you, it's about others.
So Durant and Steph are not leaders because Clay can't show up right now, huh? So you gonna put that on them too?
Yeah, they're grown men, Will.
Leadership is not about your performance. It's about what you do to the guys around you.
I'll accept
and
your
if their
premise.
team didn't show up, that's on the leader.
I will accept your premise. Let's say it's a failure in leadership before tip-off. The Cavs are rested.
Of game one.
Of game one. The question, again, is about the pass. With LeBron James, either you're going to argue that a pass doesn't exist for anyone ever, or that's what you must be arguing. Or LeBron gets a pass. It's one or the other. If you don't give LeBron James a pass for last night, then you never give anyone a pass for anything.
I'm with her. No lifetime passes.
In a seven-game
anybody.
series, in a seven-game series, you better give out a pass.
All right,
It's not
There's no such thing as a pass then. Why ask the question?
That should be the question. Is there ever a thing called a pass?
Do you think that, let's chance that. You think there should be lifetime passes for anybody on anything?
Oh, yeah. Especially when the history
And clearly you do as
But
well.
the lifetime pass doesn't mean that you can choke away a whole series. It means you can have a bad
You can
game.
have a bad game.
You're entitled to have a bad game if you're
All right.
LeBron James.
Bad game once.
We gotta leave it there, Jen. The Lakers are primed to get Lonzo Ball in the NBA draft, but that means they'll get his daddy LeVar as well. How does Laker fan Ice Cube feel about it? We'll ask him when he joins the show. And up next, the undefeated Mark